Hello, it's me, AnaLisa, with my spiritual friends. I am back. It's Sunday, the last Sunday of June. As always, I am not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for all of the energy and everything you guys sent. My niece is doing better. There's a little, more to come, but she's doing better. She's out of the hospital, so that's really good. I don't know about anybody else, but it seemed like a lot of weird health stuff popped up for people last week. Please like and subscribe. If you're new here, welcome. I know I have a few new subscribers. What you will find is a really, really awesome group of people here. I like to say I have the best subscribers on YouTube because I think this is just a really great group of souls that come in here and hang out. And we're all about kind of uplifting each other and offering support and love and good vibes and intentions. So thank you, everyone. I hope all is well with all of you. I see that you wrote that, Baseman. So I'm just peeking through the comments. I don't know if anybody has noticed, like there's a lot of like anxiety energy around. I was messaging with a friend of mine who's also a psychic medium this morning and just saying like, hey, and she's like, oh, I've noticed that too. I'm like, I think it's general energy. I know that the numbers are bumping up right now. I know in Texas, they're talking about now the peak happening in October. I truly, in all of my heart, believe that the numbers are not going to get anywhere and be as long and drawn out as they were here in New York and New Jersey, because I truly, in my heart, believe people are going to start kind of going, oh, this is for real. Unfortunately, I think as humans, a lot of the times we have to bump our head really hard to understand that someone walking into the wall and hitting their head actually hurts, that you don't like just learn from somebody else's mistakes. I also feel like treatment is sort of shifting and they're sort of kind of doing a better job of that and protecting the elderly and all of that. So I hope I'm right about this one. Oh, and also send lots of love to KK. She's my moderator. She's a rock star. I adore her. She's wonderful. I love all of you, really, but she kind of helps keep everybody in line. If you want a mediumship reading, please give me a name. Makes it easier for tapping into that energy. Okay, so I'm going to start at the 8:45 time block. So if you've posted your questions before then, please retype your question and get back in line. That's sort of my rule, because otherwise it's like question upon question upon question. It's a lot. Uzumaka, you're back. Welcome back. Will I be able to sue my ex-employee? RRS. I guess that's the name. You will, but it feels like financially you won't get, like, it's not like you're going to get a whole lump sum. I feel like I'm going to get very small payments along the way. So I'm asking, like, well, is it worth it for you to put that money financially into it to do this? And it feels like it is. It feels like it's like about the principle of it and about sort of keeping it from happening again and setting. It's almost also about setting an energetic boundary and barrier for yourself and like sort of owning your power in it. Not like power as an employer, but as a human being, like, because I feel like you've run into a lot, the feelings I get in life, I've run into a lot of like people taking advantage of me and sort of allowing that to happen and not ever putting really a stop on it. It does feel like it's going to take longer than you're hoping for a resolution on it. I don't know if you can validate any of that. As Blue Storm said, please like and subscribe. If you're new here, listen, it doesn't hurt to subscribe. I'm not charging you. I did put, because some of you guys bug me about donating. I did put a link to PayPal me. If you want to donate, you can. There is no pressure. There is no expectation. This truly is a gift from the universe. So, see if Uzumaka. Oh, there you are. You were thinking about something. Okay. So that's just what I feel about it. I don't know if you can validate any of the other stuff, but that's the feeling I get around it. So, well, welcome. Is it Leah or Leia? Okay. Aura Antonio, when do you see T and you reconnecting and communicating? Oh, some of you may know what that means when I get that face. Let me see. I'm getting a 2 and a 3. So I feel like in 2 months and 3 months, it feels like small bits, but separated out. And then I feel like it just fizzles out. Like they're showing me, do you know that candy, Pop Rocks? How it like, so it feels like a little bit and then it's just like done and nothing. But it feels like recognizing that maybe what I thought I wanted or needed, I really didn't. And maybe I was romanticizing in my head this was more than it really was. Like this person was better than he really was. So it just feels like you're going to have a reconnection, but it feels like a little ways out. It feels like it's kind of sporadic. And then you realizing that it's not exactly what you really wanted. Hi, Nicole. I am doing well. Your relationship, your family's relationship with Lourdes. Lourdes. I don't know why that one's harder for me to say. Lourdes. Now I'll mumble it under my breath for the next 45 minutes obnoxiously. Just kidding. Honestly, it just feels like casual. It doesn't feel like all the sneaky business is going on. It just feels it feels like it's more in your head than it really is. Like you've got a story going on in your head and it's really something totally different going on. So it's like I'm building the story of what the relationship is, but really it's like very casual, very cordial and polite, but not anything more than that. It's very acquaintancy. That's not really a word, but that was for Nicole Plant. Now, Nicole, after Nicole Plant, can you please tell me what will happen at my job? It doesn't feel like they have my best interest at heart, so been extra defensive. So nobody wants to hear this part, right? So no, they don't. But honestly, when you work, I think when I worked, honestly, I was like, as long as I didn't really want anybody patting me on the back, I could give 2 craps about it. I was good. The only time I was like, I didn't want to go in the manager's office. So if I got called in, that was when I was like, oh, like I didn't really care if anybody was like telling me I was doing a great job. I couldn't have cared less. I was fine. So it's just like, it's sort of like feeling like you're a number. That's true. And it's sort of like you are replaceable. That's kind of how jobs are. I don't know very many jobs where somebody is completely irreplaceable. And I hate to say that. That's just like sort of what's coming on. So it's like, it's not that they don't have your best interest at heart, but money truly is the bottom line. So the defensiveness, I feel like, honestly, is coming from wanting outside validation as to your qualifications and how good you are, but you are good at your job. I just feel like your bosses don't lend towards being those people that are really great communication managers. It feels like they don't really reach out and say, hey, you're doing a great job, or you're this or that. It's very much like, here's what you need to get done. Here's what we need done. Here's how it needs to be done, or here's the timeline or whatever. And just sort of very cut and dry about it. You do have to speak up for yourself in a sense, but it would behoove you to approach it at a different angle. As I just don't feel like they hear you. But don't search for being validated by somebody outside of you, because first of all, whenever you were doing that and we're coming from a place of needing outside validation, if you sort of step back and look at it like who we're asking for validation from, it's kind of also, if you look at it like, well, pardon my French, but who the fuck are they anyway to tell you you're good enough or you're smart enough or you're whatever? I've had plenty of mentors and people along the way that are good at their jobs, but they're also sort of a mess in their personal life, or they also have lots of room for growth themselves. So I always sort of check myself and look at like, why am I looking for that outside validation? Do I need it from that person? You know your job and you know how you're doing it, so you really don't need that. I know that was a really long tangent off, but you're welcome, Nicole Plant. I don't know if that makes any sense, Nicole. Does that make sense when I say all of that? You're welcome. It does. Okay. So just like remember when you're looking for outside validation, also kind of check yourself and go and look at them, like try and like step back and be like, why do I need their validation? And are they really worth it? I was always kind of wondering why certain people weren't approving of me, or, you know, why things weren't showing up when I wanted them to show up, or why people weren't seeing me, blah, blah, blah. And I sort of stopped worrying about it, because most of the people I was looking for validation from, it's sort of like they're just a gigantic mess anyway, and on them. Miss Ashley Patterson. May I please ask how Sebastian is feeling about me lately, and we'll be communicating soon. I asked about him before and you said we'll reconcile. Okay. Like the minute I think about him and feel about him, I feel somebody who leans towards being very anxious. And again, somebody who just really internalizes and represses emotions, kind of gets caught up in his head. So I don't want to say like he's not thinking about you, because it's just not, whatever it is going on with him, it's not a priority. Like relationships and like those kind of emotions aren't a priority. I feel like I'm just really trying to like hold on and not anxious about the world and what's going on around me and how everything is. I feel like honestly, he's a bit of an empath and sort of cues into others' energies around them, that not really understanding that it's like not necessarily his. He just feels, like I said, like I felt very anxious, especially earlier today. I knew that it was the collective and not really mine. Whereas like, so it's totally different when it's the collective versus yours. When it's your stuff and feeling overwhelmed, it makes sense what's going on and what's around you, like everything kind of piling up. Whereas this was sort of like out of nowhere, and it doesn't fit with like a hormonal thing. Like it's, I am very logical when I look at what's going on and how it fits with me. Like, especially because I spent so long like trying to find reasons why all of these psychic and spiritual things were happening around me. So like when I was a little girl, I'd fall asleep at night and see shadowy figures in my room. And I would just, because I'm kind of a science dork. And so I was like, oh, that's just my eyes adjusting to light and the dark. And like everybody sees those, right? You see figures of people burned into your eyes from the daytime. So I'm always looking for like the logical things. So there's a difference, and he doesn't really know that there's a difference, and he's just kind of pulling in a lot of that. Okay. So he's really just in his head right now. And thank you for validating that he is those things. I do think you'll communicate soon, but it'll be it feels very spotty. Because it's like he really can't take any more on his plate. So it feels like maybe reach out and say you're thinking about him, maybe something, but just like, you know, you hope he's doing well. Just something very like, it just feels like something like very small and like, yeah, but it's like, don't expect a lot right away. Oh man, I just saw Google user. I'm telling you, they're doing work on my house, and they open up. We have a front deck. They open it up, and the whole thing has to be rebuilt. Like we were hoping just to have it like the railings, you know, fixed and secured, and like the whole thing has to be rebuilt. So when you're saying things are getting broken and stuff, part of me really wonders if there's not planetary thing of just you know, everything like bubbling up that needs to be healed and released, and it's also coming into our physical existences and repairs for equipment and things. I'll look at it more, but I saw that. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, you and me both. Am. Hello, hello. So I actually think you and Maria were sisters in a past life. That's what came to me immediately. And you were also like, you've had several lives together. Also, I keep seeing her and like some sort of like helper or close confidant where you might have been a little bit stationed higher and she's a station lower where there's like a confidant, really close knit bond there. And then a quick message from your guides. Are you thinking of moving? Because I don't know if this is literal. They said she's moving further than she'd like. I don't know. So I don't know if it's literal or if it's figurative. I honestly have no idea, but they said she's moving further than she'd like. Moving further. Thank you, KK. Oh my God, y'all, time flies by so quickly. Not physical, at least. You could have, but those are the 2 lives they're showing me specifically. So you could have had more than that, but the 2 that they're showing me. Oh, I just saw your France thing. That's awesome. So you're moving further than you like. So I don't know if it means you're maybe not exactly going to be where you want to be in France. That might be related to that. Let me read that again. Shoot, where'd that go? Darn it. So I just heard she's moving further than she'd like. So maybe you're not getting the exact spot you want when you go to France. I don't know. So, but it might be, I felt distance, but I'm going to take that, man. Maybe that just means that you'll be further away than you want to be. I'm not sure. 2 weeks ago, I'm going to read this again. You said it would be approved and it was on Tuesday. I can renew my from France and won't have to go to the US for it. Your visa? Melanie, you just got right in there. Anyway, so I'm going to leave you with that. Okay, but you're doing good. I feel like everything is on track and doing really, really well. Oh, wait, that was for Ashley. Ashley, shoot. Sorry, You're like, am I? Okay, so for I heard you're moving further than you like. So I'm sorry. Pardon my confusion there. You're all confused. I don't know what that means by you're moving further than you'd like then, because I would put it with moving physically. It feels more on those route, but y'all, I always fully say I can be wrong. It's cool to be wrong, right? It's how you learn. Oh, crap. Okay. Sorry, dear. They literally just said she'll get it. It'll make sense to you soon. So I feel like by August, this will make sense, the moving thing. So it's only a month away. That's not so far. I cannot believe it's almost July. Danny, go look up this guy who does energy work. His name is Daniel Teague, DanielTeague. I have used him to do energy work for myself. I've recommended it to people and they've also had really good luck. I feel like there's some kind of block or something, and we can all remove our own blocks. I really do believe that. But he'll scan you for free. And then, but if I'm recommending on here, I'm not telling you like get a free scan and just to see what's up. Cause it's like, unless you're intending on potentially using his services, it's pointless for you to know if there's something. But, so what is his? I can't think of the name of his website, but it's Daniel Teague. Teague. Let me see if I can find the name of his website. I feel like he might actually be able to help you with that. And normally I wouldn't say that, but I actually feel like it's something that will open up for you slowly anyway. But he might be able to accelerate that for you. It's Vega, VEGA star STAR healings HEALINGS.com. You don't have to call him or anything. You just email him and he'll do it that way. So I will leave you with that because I feel like as much as you don't think it's happening, I do feel like it is. I just feel like it's not happening the way you envision it. Also understand when I started doing mediumship, like it really was a much slower process. It took me a lot longer because it was a process of a whole bunch of other stuff unfolding so that when I was communicating with them, I was able to like pull out the subtleties of it being them versus being a guide. And also being a stronger, like, you are doing mediumship when you're talking to guides versus it's all the same thing. People have these weird delineations of, well, it's only when you're talking to loved ones, but it's not. It's all spirit. It's all energy. But there's these subtle differences and these, like, this growth that sort of happens as a psychic and in your own, like, subtle nuances of communication, because it's harder to communicate with ones that have crossed over versus your guides, because they have the whole healing process and humanness that they kind of leave onto the other side with. If they're more spiritual, they communicate much easier and quicker, versus if they were just religious and rigid and didn't really necessarily believe in something. So there's sort of like a level of patience that has to happen too, of just being open to the process of the way you grow and move too. I do believe it's going to happen for you. I just think it's happening at a very slow, like a much slower rate than you're comfortable with. I do feel like you'll sort of get more, it's like in 6 months, you sort of come to this like realization and understanding where you get like just more comfortable with the way the universe is introducing it to you and opening you up versus wanting it to be a certain timeline and time frame. It took me a while to like get to that point, because when I first finished all my classes and stuff and like was a certified psychic medium, even though I'd been doing this or whatever, I took courses when I graduated or was certified. I always said, when I pissed off my teacher the first class, because she's like, why are you here? I go, because people like certifications. I was kind of an ass. Anyway, but people do like certifications. They just like pieces of paper. Anyway, I'm rambling. But my point being is I kind of got out and I had this vision of like, I'm going to have all these clients and I'm going to do it this way. And like my abilities and the way my reading style has grown is like it's taken years to get there. And it took me a long time to get to the point of being like, instead of being like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? To just being like, okay, this is happening this way for a reason. And I'm growing this way for a reason. And maybe I need to do this healing so that I actually give a richer and fuller reading that's more helpful, rather than like, you know, like I used to give readings and I'd be like, oh, your stepmom is a total B. And like, now I see it where I'm like, well, she is. And this is like kind of what's going on. And this is the way she grew up. And it just becomes this like bigger picture with much more detail that's actually helpful, rather than just like, now what do I do with this information I have? So be a little bit patient, but you can just see what he says. It might help, but there's also this component of just enjoying the journey. Sorry for the long ramble. You are part of it. So I went through periods of not getting anything too, and it sort of becomes a dormant phase because it's sort of overwhelming. But I feel like you really are. It's just not being fully well aware. I think there's a lot going on in your sleep that you're not aware of. That's sort of like opening you up and growing you. I do feel like there's this protective phase around you of not wanting you to grow too far too fast, because it can be overwhelming. So start doing and asking for validation and signs and showing you. And then when you get something small, acknowledge it. It's really, really important. And set the intention when you go to sleep at night to remember things and to connect in. Elizabeth Lynn, you have not been called. Oh, she answered that for you. I don't know if I typed your name, Danny, but... So when I would get readings like a few years ago, I would always hear, you're so impatient. I am kind of impatient that way. Like, where is it? Why isn't it happening? When's it going to come along? So when you ask and you're like, oh, I get what you're saying. Like, I am coming from a place of knowing that feeling and getting frustrated with it. Blue Storm. I was wondering if I will get a stimulus payment by the end of July. If so, when? I feel like it's the third week of July. It feels like weird that there's some weird delay or hold up on it. Like it's, I don't want to say it's lost, but it just feels like some weird delay or hold up. Like, so it's like, I don't want to even say misplaced. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like somewhere in the system and it just got delayed. Like it's printed in an envelope. Monica C, why are you in pain? You're meaning physically, not emotionally, right? Because I do feel a little bit of that. You're welcome. Not yet, spiritual goddess. I think you're next. Oh, thank you, Ma'am. I have these like attachments on my teeth because I'm doing Invisalign. I'm finally doing the second thing of it. So like I'm always like kind of playing with them. Who was I rambling to? I'll get to y'all. I'm sorry. Let's see. That was Monica C. Are you still here? All right. Let me see what I got. So I just keep getting pulled to the idea that a lot of whatever's manifesting for you physically is actually like physical manifestations of anxiety. It doesn't feel like I have a massive disease or anything like that that's hiding. Now, I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose you. I'm not qualified to diagnose you, even with a nursing background. I know that with a nursing background, that is illegal for me to diagnose you because I am not a doctor. So always, 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 if you feel like something's going on, please go to your doctor and check that out. Don't take my word for it. But I do feel like it's not anything huge. It just feels like anxiety is contributing to a lot of physical manifestations of not feeling well. So, do meditations, do a lot of deep breathing, go out if you can and you're physically able to go for a walk. Like it may not be something where I'm able to go for a run or be really super physically active, but I know for me, it's really important. Like I've found that working out 5 days a week is really important for my mental health. Just for sort of like kind of moving the energy through my body instead of letting it get stuck there. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but that's what I'm picking up. All right, spiritual goddess, you are here. Messages from your spirit guides. Hang on, let me just take a sip of water. So this isn't your guides, but I feel like there's a younger female energy here. She has a very thin build, so I feel like maybe would have been 5'8", 5'9", whatever it is. I just feel tall and thin, like very thin, very long, lean arms, lean legs, and lots of attitude. And I feel like I would not have been like, even if I was like 15 or 16 when I passed or whatever age, I looked very young for my age. Does this connect with you at all? And attitude, like all kinds of sass and energy. Does this connect with you at all? I do not have a poker face, by the way. I am reading for you. There's this younger female energy are here that's kind of popping through. It is not your guides today. Does this resonate with you? I don't know if it's a family member or if it's like a friend maybe you grew up with. Like literally saying to me, who does she think she is anyway? Like, what's she been thinking about? Like, whatever's going on in your head, she's checking you on it. There's no list, Ellen. I don't know if this makes any sense, spiritual goddess. Okay. She says you'll remember her. She's not giving me a name. I'm getting a letter T. So like maybe would have even said called you T, or she called you called her T, but I was shown T. So just can, if you don't mind just holding on to that this week and seeing if it makes sense, because it feels like it will make sense. They don't usually come in like that. And also I feel like this is a combination of your guides and her. It's like you're going to know within this week coming up, you've been looking for signs and for validations, and they're like, you're going to know who she is, and your guides are going to be validating something for you that's coming in that you've been asking about. Okay, so if someone said to you, you better watch what you're thinking about or how you're thinking about things, would it mean then when you say that you've been really depressed that maybe your thoughts have been a bit darker? Maybe you're starting to pull energies into you that don't need to be there. If someone's checking you, there's a reason for that, okay? You're going to figure out who this person is. I fully believe that it's going to either conversation's going to happen where it's going to come to your head. I don't know, but I feel like you're going to get validation on who this person is. Okay. Starry sky. The court jester type person being in the corner with what? Oh, okay. Sorry. Was the court jester type person being in the corner of this long swimming pool that would fly back and forth across it? Who, or was I the court jester? It's a very surreal dream that I felt a connection with this person or being. Yeah, but it's definitely metaphorically speaking, like sort of talking about your role in other people's lives and how you feel like you're kind of moving back and forth and kind of upon it's not like a literal thing that's going to come up. It's sort of like looking at yourself from outside of yourself is sort of the impression I'm getting. Base fan, any messages from your spirit guides? So I'm going to put Starry Sky there. Base fan. Y'all, till the end of June, you can see Just Mercy, like free on any streaming device. I think like Amazon, Netflix, everything has it. It is so incredibly good. It is crazy. It's crazy good. Who is it? Ice Cube's son is in it. And it was funny because I heard his voice. His voice is so similar to his dad's. And I was like, is that him? And then I saw his face. I was like, no, that's so weird. He sort of has like the same like head shape and build, but not like, it was really, really good. And is it Michael B. Jordan? Is that his name? He's such a fantastic actor. He's so talented. It was so good. So heartbreaking because you see so many barriers to justice, and also just incredibly powerful and really, really, really good, and 1,000% worth your time to watch. Okay, sorry, base man. Okay. Okay, so verbatim, what they're saying to me. Who do you think you are, and where do you see your vision going? You need to get that straight in your head. You need to really see yourself in like your whole being and where you're going. So when you're manifesting, it's like, get that really straight in your head, because you need to stop doubting yourself and you need to stop seeing it. It's like seeing this break. So I feel like it's a feeling of like having this break of really having like, this is who I was and this is where I'm going. It was like this very clear delineation of when you were going to change and move on. So they're saying, get it clear in your head what your vision is for yourself, because it's muddling up things and sort of slowing things from coming to fruition. And they said, you are a powerful manifester. You are really good at doing it. You just have to really get clear on this vision that's coming for you and that where you want to be. It's like seeing yourself at that, like having this dream of, people talk about like, I'm building my empire. So it's having this dream of having this empire, but like really see yourself in that empire and know that you're capable of doing it, and own that, because you have to make that shift, right? So it's like when you look in the mirror, you're not looking at who you are today, but you're looking at where you're going. Does that make sense? I hope so. You're welcome. Apparently your fiance's guides are whispering into my ears then. Well, you have a smart fiance. And also I really love that validation when stuff like that comes through, because it's like, it's good for you and it's really good for me. So there's like this, really cool energy exchange thing that happens. Welcome, Leah. I think I said welcome before, but you know what? Sometimes I go into my weird little psychic mode. Regine, do I have any messages from your spirit guides? So this is not literal, but this is like, I'm going to lead you to it. But I like to tell you guys like kind of how I get stuff and like how I translate it. So I heard that Martin Luther King Jr., the ask not what your country. No, that's not him, is it? Ask not. Who is this? Fuck. Sorry. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. But it doesn't mean that literally. What it means is you have your vision of what you want to do. Stop waiting to see what the universe is going to do for you. But it's like kind of put it out there like, now what do I need to do to move into that path? When I was manifesting things several years ago, I would sort of, instead of just saying like, I would say, this is what I want. Now, what do I need to do? Put me on the path to get me there. Like, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to meet? Like whatever it is, because part of manifesting, it's not just that the universe dumps it on your lap. It's that it moves you into these places, but it's not always like just this magical thing that happens. It's this, like a star floating in and dropping in your lap. It's you actually having to do the work too. I say to people, they're like, when am I going to meet my next relationship? And they're telling me you're not even getting off the couch to do anything. Like, the person's just not going to knock on you most of the time, right? The person's just not going to knock on your door and be like, I'm here. Like, you got to put yourself out there too. So it's that sort of feeling is like, ask them what you need to be doing. I know someone's JFK. Yeah, it was. Thank you. Such an asshole. That showed me like my little, don't know who I'm quoting. Okay, so were the Tiffany or Tatiana, did they pass away? You're welcome, Regine. Itchy nose. Y'all, I taught my mom something today. We were talking about how whitewashed history is and like all the things they don't teach you in school. And she goes, because we were talking about, I mentioned something, JFK. I mentioned something about somebody getting upset about spray paint on a Columbus statue. She goes, I looked that up to figure out why was everybody, my mom was a school teacher. So this is like, not like she's uneducated or anything. It's just what we teach in school and what we're taught for years and years and years. And, even people who do this work to teach inclusion and everything else, they didn't learn about until taking specialized college courses. And, okay, we'll find out. So, yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. So she's like, I didn't understand that, like, what an awful and horrible and disgusting person Columbus was. And then I was like, did you know about George Washington's teeth? Y'all, if you think that those are wooden teeth, just Google George Washington's dentures. So anyway, so I'm like on this path to find a real history book. And I don't always pull names very well. I don't know why. But I always know people's energy and their face, and I can hear the voices and I can see their face in my head. I just can never pull a name. It's really, really frustrating. So that's something I'm working on manifesting, is being better with names. Okay. Sorry. Try not to bore you. Okay. Baby face. You want one too from your guides. So they said you're growing in leaps and bounds, but keep your head up. Don't let those around you get you down. I heard that song, you got to keep your head up. Oh, so it's like, just like, don't let the energy of people around you, don't let things get you down and feel like because it's not dropping in my lap like this, then it's not going to happen. And all these people around me are right. You are moving in leaps and bounds. It's all kind of falling into place for you. But just trust that just because it's not here in the physical yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Stop listening to people telling you like oh, well, they were right. It's not going to happen, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not qualified, or this is just such a crazy dream that I have in my head. And it's so big. And of course they were right. Like, do not listen to that. Just keep your head up and keep moving. And, Elizabeth Lynn, I feel like no on whether or not you and Chris will get back together. Let's see, advice for your love life. So I keep feeling like the feeling of accepting less than your worth because you think that what if the right one's not coming? What if there isn't another opportunity? And it's sort of like learn that lesson of like setting your boundaries and shifting your energy and seeing your self-worth and your value. We get it really mixed up in our head, especially as women, that if we have a standard, then we are arrogant or we're difficult or we're bitter. Think of a whole bunch of negative adjectives, and that's the way we're sort of taught. And it's not about that. It's about knowing what you really, really want and what you're willing to accept. Self-love isn't about saying, I'm so wonderful and I'm so great, and this is just like, I'm perfect and blah. It's about talking to yourself how you would talk to a friend. And a lot of us have a lot of this negative chatter going on in our head that's not serving you in any way. So it feels like, as far as your love life is like learning to really change that old belief system in your head that says that, you know, you're not gonna, that person that's a good fit for you, that's going to be kind and respectful and, you know, values you in the same way that you value them, isn't possible. So maybe I should settle for less. That they're coming. Changing that belief system is really, really important. No worries, Journey, but thank you for, I don't know if you're subscribed, but like and subscribe, and then you'll get, if you hit the bell, you get that, you'll get that I go live next week. I'm here pretty much every week. So you can depend on me. That's part of me being a Cancer. You're very welcome, Liz. I'm grateful that my guide spoke so clearly and easily to share that message with you. Alessandra Kohler. You know what? This is so stupid, but every time I see your last name, I think of Kohler, Wisconsin, and going to the Kohler. It's like a Kohler showroom in Kohler, Wisconsin, and like so weird that I actually thought it was really cool. But it's like bathroom stuff, right? That was when I was in high school. I'm a total nerd, by the way. I like get a big red X with the situation with Rigo. Like I just get like distance yourself. This is not good. Stay back. Like I just feel not good about that. Like warning, warning, red flag, warning. Like it just feels like don't push for something that's not great. Rigo feels like he has like some dark energy over him. Is it Anna or Anna Booker? Because yours is spelled the way a German. So I just learned this today. like, I know that from doing my courses that 6 is like whenever it shows up in the Bible from a metaphysical standpoint, it always means that something psychic is going to happen. That's why I don't freak out about 666. I also don't believe in the devil, so But 9 feels like an actual psychic connection for you. Like I feel that it feels like a pay attention, but it feels like it's more about you growing your psychic abilities than it is about a thing. Now I can read to you what Doreen Virtue says about the number 9. It says, get to work, light worker. The number 9 means that you've completed all of the prerequisites to achieve your life purpose. Stop procrastinating as it's time to start taking action steps. Even baby steps are useful. But to me, I feel like it's more on a psychic sense and a spiritual sense than it is on an actual like job work. It just feels very psychically connected. KK, what do I see happening with you in the next 2 to 6 weeks? Are you putting applications out? Because I keep feeling like applications going out, things going out and sort of shifting, but I keep feeling like we're filling out a lot of paperwork. It feels like very focused on that for the next 2 to 6 weeks. No love connections. Thought I'd ask that. G, any messages from your spirit guides? Keep going, keep moving forward. This is not the time to stop. I just feel like things are rolling, things are moving forward. And it feels really more like not with love or relationships. It feels more in the work sort of sense. And also in your own spiritual development, it just feels like keep moving forward, keep going. This is not where it stops. I also think you need to watch how you're eating because they said an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I feel like we need to watch how I don't really need to, right? You need to watch how you're doing with your diet because it is very imperative to your own health and your immune system. Sock monkey, blessings to you too. Breezy. You will get good news from your doctor this week. It feels like there's one lab or something that's just slightly off, but not concerning. Just kind of like, we'll check back, but I'm not worried about it. Like it's sort of like maybe in 6 months repeating the test or something, but nothing concerning. Like not needing to go meet with anybody right away. Leia, I feel like no, that's not going to happen. I don't feel like Emma's going to come forward with feelings for you. Sorry. Better things on the horizon. India and Puri, yes. Yes, it will definitely be a positive change for you. And congratulations. I have read for India and Puri privately, and so I'm wondering if my timing was right that I said about the move. Mary, all is good for me. Thank you for asking or saying. I was wondering what's going on with my foot. The pain has been progressively getting worse for months. I'm immediately pulled towards like a plantar fasciitis or a tendonitis type thing. And it would behoove you to go to do physical therapy or chiropractor, whichever, that specializes with feet. But I really keep getting pulled towards plantar fasciitis or like a tendonitis thing. And it also feels like y'all throw your flip-flops out if you're wearing them. They are terrible. They are the worst shoes for feet. Anything where your toes have to grip to keep them on is lends towards a tendonitis, plantar fasciitis type thing. So, but that's where I'm sort of like, I feel like it is. I have had it so bad that I was like, I couldn't even stand. So, but that's sort of where I feel like it, what's going on with you, Mary. And I said that before, repeated it a million times. Sherry, do things look good for you financially over the next few months? Yes, I feel totally fine, totally stable. And I feel like a bump up in November. Okay, Google user, now we can talk about all these bad things happening. You didn't do anything to attract it. It's sort of like, so it's like this time energetically right now is really about old things kind of rooting up that were still there kind of under the surface and making their rearing their ugly heads, so to speak. So it was like always kind of there. So like emotionally old things kind of coming up right now that we thought we were over and thought we were done with. And it's like sort of like making their last hurrah out of your energetically, out of your system and out of your aura. You'll see it kind of happening on bigger scales and on smaller scales. So if you just sort of pay attention to what you're going through emotionally and relationships and things like that, like old behavior patterns, things that you thought you dealt with and you were over. And it's also happening for people's electronics, appliances, homes, things like that, that you thought like everything was okay. And it's like sort of all things that have been there. You didn't attract anything. I do feel like you could probably use a good sage in your house though. So when you're saging, when you're doing what do you call it? Smudging. I was gonna say smoking the house out, but that could like be taken a totally different way. When you're doing that, make sure you open windows. One time I did not open windows and I was actually trying to get rid of something that I did attract and came home with me and was like scaring the crap out of my children. And I forgot to open the windows. And I'm like, why the hell won't this thing leave? So open your windows just to move the energy through. It's helpful. So pick a day that's not too hot or muggy out. And it's like super easy. It's just kind of like out with the old, in with the new. Only energy that is of the highest love and light can stay. So we try to say, don't say get out, like always do everything with love. Gratefully send the stuff that no longer serves you as it served a purpose and it helped you in your own growth, but is no longer needed. It's the kind of thing. If you always do it with positive intention, it's sort of, it goes easier. There's not usually as much of a battle. Even the dark teaches us something. Even the negative energy does teach us something and does serve a purpose. Even the shitty relationships teach us something and serve a purpose. So if you could find gratitude in it, which is hard sometimes, but if you can, it offers a better energetic balance. Debbie Jones, is the soulmate you meet in 4 months truly the one? I'm laughing because I'm always like, I always tell people like, if I said it, it's whatever came through. I do feel like it's a very important relationship for you, but I also feel like there's one later in life too. So it's not to say that there isn't going to be like the father of your children or something like that, or marriage. It just feels like it's very important. And there's this other thing that happens later in life. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm super grateful, by the way. So I'm getting to these comments now that I said from like the very beginning of the show. It's like an hour in. I'm like, oh. So I am really, really, truly grateful for you guys. And I always like trust the universe brings the right people in when we're supposed to see the videos we're supposed to see to learn or read the books we're supposed to read, that they all sort of fall in our, I always say they don't, they don't fall in our luck, but when you're seeking that, they come to us, they're brought to us. Kai Marie, you started a business in December of 2019. Will my business turn a profit this year? It will. It's going to be small, and it's going to steadily grow. So it doesn't feel like I have a big influx, but it feels like I actually do turn a small profit. And like, I feel like almost joking around that it's like, because it's like small, but it's going to see steady growth, and it's going to grow exponentially. I feel like by 2023, I'm going to feel really good about it. Now, does that seem like a really long time? Yeah, it does. But I feel like when you're starting like on your own, it does take a little bit to kind of get your name out there and get known for what you do. But I feel like by 2023, feeling very good about where I'm at financially. We are almost to 2021, so that's not that long. Priscilla Allen, and I hope that you like my style. Can I expect my love life in the near? What can I expect in my love life in the near future? Making sure I'm spelling your name right when I type it. So the way they're showing to me is kind of funny. It's like seeing you talking with your girlfriends and like joking about the bad dates you're going on and joking about like, oh my God, why can I not meet the right guy? So I feel like in the next year to 18 months, maybe as far as 2 years out. So like, I know that's like, it feels like on the later end. You know that movie Picture Perfect with Jennifer Aniston, where she's like got this really great guy in front of her and she can't see it? It's sort of like that situation of you end up having this really great, perfect, wonderful person in front of you, and you don't really see it at first, and then you see it. That's what it feels like happening to me. So it's like I meet him and maybe know him in my life a little bit before we actually have that romantic connection. Shaheen Nazar, hello. Any messages from your spirit guides? I don't know if something is coming up where you're feeling like you need to go in and like defend yourself, or it feels like more work, or like when I say defend, it feels like more towards like a master's degree or something like that. Like it feels more in a professional setting, not as in, will you just listen to me, like a personal. So it feels like, speak clearly and confidently because you have everything that you need. You are more than you could ever imagine. You are perfectly qualified and intelligent, and you just need to remember that and not be nervous. Again, it's like sort of that idea of like looking for outside validation. It's like just own it and own who you are, and you can and knowing and saying I'm good. My mom and I had this conversation too earlier. It's like it doesn't make you arrogant or to say like, yeah, I'm good at this. Like, this is where I excel. This is where, like, that's not a bad thing to say. I mean, you can be a dick about it, but that's not what I'm saying. Like, if you're like, yeah, I am good about this, I know what I'm talking about, just energetically own it, because it feels like they're telling you, like, energetically own your qualifications. You're smart and you're good at what you're doing. So like when you walk in there, hold that energy. It's really important. I don't know if that connects with anything. I hope it does. You're welcome, Priscilla. You're welcome, Kai. Miriam, how do my reference check go? Well, you'll get the job. It feels like there's like a hitch, like either someone's not quite available, there's some kind of vacation-y thing holding it up, something like that. I don't know who the hell is going on vacation right now, but it feels like there's some time off for some reason it's holding up, but you feel like you'll get the job. Spiritual Seeker 583. When will your son get a girlfriend and a job? All right, Mama Bear. Here's the deal. Don't worry about the relationships. They come exactly when they're supposed to. I feel like he's sort of grappling with some stuff anyway and is like sort of not focused on relationship right now. It's like, I also feel like he's really picky. And oftentimes when someone is really picky, there's also some internal struggle of like maybe not really wanting to be in a relationship, because if you just pick apart everybody for like the littlest things and expecting somebody to be totally perfect, then you're not realistic about what relationships and people are, and B, you're sort of keeping that at bay, because if you know, you can't get in a relationship if they're not perfect. I feel like doing odd jobs or little things, and then by August or September having like a full job. Will my son get a job? Son Dylan get a job at NTR? I feel like he's offered it, but I also feel like he's offered somewhere else, and it actually ends up being a better deal, which I know that sounds weird because you're like, this would be like the best one, but it feels like I'm offered two and I have to make the decision. This is for Lana Shokor. I hope I'm saying your name right. Nancy. I will look at your health. Okay. Nancy, do you have a history of lung issues? Because I keep getting right away, I'm pulled respiratory wise. Tanisha, if you hit the bell, and if when you subscribe, if you hit the bell when I go live, I usually put like something up a few minutes before I go on to give you the exact time, so that you know. While I'm waiting for Nancy to answer, Sandra, I keep getting a 3. Does 3 weeks make sense for him to be up here in Pennsylvania? And I thought you two were done. Being a turd. Oh, you're here. Okay. Does the lung stuff make sense, or do you have a history of having easily getting bronchitis or asthma or something? Because I just felt pulled really to my lungs. Like I just felt like I was needing to breathe. Is there a specific area you want me to look at? Because that's where I'm being pulled immediately. You do have long ass shoes. Okay. That's just where I'm getting pulled towards. Is there something specific you want to know about that? And then I'm rubbing my right knee. Does your right knee do you have like arthritis? Kind of where I'm being pulled towards, like that's more of a long term. And right hip. Right knee, right hip. The lung thing is the biggest thing for me. It just feels like really having a hard time breathing. Do you have a history of smoking? To me, it just feels like I would not ignore the lung stuff. Sorry. I told you, no poker face. So if I screw something up on the computer, then I okay. Dulce wants just a general reading. I'm waiting for Nancy to respond to that stuff. So the way to not get too caught up. 850. All right. Dulcie, do you have something going on with your head? I just feel immediate headaches and almost like congested allergy, post-nasal drippy feeling. So Rose, I know you I don't know if you're going for tests soon, like to recheck or whatever it is, and having that nervousness about it. I do feel her here a little bit. She has very short hair. This is what I'm being shown as a woman with very short hair, and I feel like I would have dyed it, and it feels like, but I would have made it like a blondish reddish, like a dirty blondish reddish, so it might even look light brown. But there's this reddish tint to it. Does this fit your mom's description? She feels very small, very slight in stature. Thank you, spiritual seeker. She doesn't. Well, whoever this is telling me, so this might even be one of your guides. She's telling me that, are you saying no to the test or no? You haven't had headaches since your neck fusions. It doesn't feel bad. It just feels like having headaches and allergy stuff, Dulcie. Oh, Rose is saying yes, blonde, short, petite. Okay, perfect. It's her. So I just want to tell you real quick, and then I'll go back to you, Dulcie. It's a little bit easier to kind of go. So if you're having tests coming up, it feels like not to worry, but they're going to be okay. I feel like, because I think you said you have stage 4. It's that feeling of I have time left. I'm doing well. I'm headed on a road to recovery. So I have lots of time. So be focused on this being good results and doing well. Why did I think you said, Sandra? I thought you said you were done with him. Maybe did you have like a thing where you were done? Anyway, I get like 3 weeks is the feeling I get. Sometimes people run together. So I feel like she is around you for sure. She did show up. Would she have patted you on your arm? Notice how I do weird things like randomly. I keep doing this. And she's showing me a butterfly. So I don't know if that's how she shows herself to you, but she's showing me a butterfly. And I don't know if there's something hanging outside your door. It doesn't feel like a wind chime. It just feels like something pretty that reflects light. I'm kind of seeing that. Nancy, you have lung problems. Okay. I did see that. I just feel like pay attention to those. If they're bringing me to that, I can't diagnose it or anything. Just if they're bringing to me that, don't ignore anything. You have tests coming up soon. Okay, good. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you for the validation that you have tests coming up soon and the butterfly. So this is not to worry, okay? That she's there, she's around you. So I hope this brings you a sigh of relief, or feeling of relief. All right, so Dulcie, hang on, let me kind of come back to you and just see. Nancy, I just want to say with that, when you come up with the health stuff, just make sure you're kind of focusing on that, and not ignoring it. Unless you have a specific question about it. Otherwise, that's like just where I'm being pulled. Dulcie, general reading. I'm still getting this like post-nasal drippy thing whenever I read your name and kind of connect in with your energy. Do you have allergies? You may get a little bug, like a little virus, because they showed me a little bug. Literally a little bug. So you may get a little bug, but I feel like not to worry or panic about it, Dulcie. And it may be related to having a little bit of headaches and a little bit of nasal drainage. I also feel, Dulcie, that it's important for you to drink more water. I feel a little dehydrated when I'm kind of connecting in. And you're kind of getting mixed up in all these other health things. So I'm sorry, but there's a reason where you fell into those places, like into that spot and lineup. So just trust that, even if it's not exactly what you wanted to hear, there's reasons that you sort of land where you do. I really do trust that with the universe and the guides and everything. And you're just oh, you just, okay. Jazz hands. How is my father, Robert, doing? He's not been very forthcoming lately. I feel like doing okay. It's sort of that feeling of just being rather stubborn, which you said, not being very forthcoming, but being an extremely stubborn and proud person. And it's sort of the feeling of not wanting to lose control or feel like I can't do something anymore. It's that pride of, a lot of people, there's like this whole thing that happens as you age and not being seen, not as worthy or valuable or capable. And I sometimes see it a lot with my clients where they are coming from the best intentions of, their parents as their parents age, being forceful and pushy about taking care of themselves. And then from a pride standpoint, your parent is kind of like, I wiped your ass. So like, why are you trying to tell me what's up? It becomes this miscommunication about really about everybody loving and caring for each other and just not coming across the right way. I do feel like he's okay. I do feel like he's more stubborn, and it's really coming from a place of like pride. Um, but I don't feel like anything to worry about. Like, I don't feel like he's hiding some great illness and not telling you about it. Mojo asks, in general, have I been able to predict something large for the world? And do I agree with using psychics to solve police cases? In general, yes, I have been able to predict large world things. I knew about the plane going down, the Sully plane in the Hudson River 6 months before it happened. But I didn't tell anybody about it because I thought it sounded like the craziest effing thing ever, that a plane would go down in the middle of winter and nobody would be hurt. Like, they were showing me it and I was kind of like, oh, I was like, no one's going to be hurt. Like, I was very concerned about that. I didn't want anybody to be like, if you're telling me this stuff, I don't want to know that anybody's going to be hurt. So I was like, no one's going to be, they're like, yeah, no one's going to be hurt. I'm like, all right, cool. Do what you got to do. And I happened to be like where I was standing on the river when I saw it in my mind's eye. I was actually on the Hudson River around 68th, 69th Street. There's like a I don't know, they used to do movies on a bridge kind of thing there. Not a bridge, a pier. And I was looking south on the river. Had taken my dog out for a walk and was looking south on the river and got this whole like crazy thing. I didn't know the stock market was going to crash in 2008, but about a year before, I was dating a guy who traded money. Maybe it was a little more than a year before. It's probably a little more than a year before. Who, like, his whole thing was trading money. And I saw him like feverishly after we had stopped dating, but I saw him feverishly like trying to gather money and I was kind of like, that doesn't look good. There are things from earlier videos that I've predicted for things that are going to happen, and they're like years out. And as far as using, like ethically using, yeah, I think, listen, they're never going to administer things in court of law. They're going to always have evidence to back stuff up. But I do think it's okay to use psychics and things. Always with the caveat, like, find somebody who's ethically doing it, somebody who's not. It's not about doing it. I always question when people do these readings for famous people who have crossed over and they're filming them and things like that, because I think, well, what's the point, and who are you serving? Because their family members are there, and that's very sensitive information. Or the psychics who are doing TV shows with police cases, I feel like that's all very sensitive material, and I think it's disrespectful. Or reading on celebrities, like where it's really personal readings, what's going to happen at their life. I just think ethically that crosses boundaries that are not okay. But I also am not the person who's ever going to say, like, I've read for celebrities, because I don't think they're just people. It's a job that they do. So yeah, I think it's okay to go that route. I just, with the understanding that, that it's not for something to gain, and it's not about ego and gaining notoriety. Nav, when will AB contact me? I just heard soon, but I also feel like it's one of those situations, again, of building somebody up in your head that's like reality is like, the fantasy is way better than reality. Oh, okay. Danielle, will things pick up with tea? No, I don't feel so. Libra girl, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. I feel a lot of anxiety with you. Have you been having that lately? Alethea, I feel like he's going to sign the papers. And it feels a couple years out yet before I meet someone like that I'm ready to like spend real time with. Like it feels like there's interest in other places, but I do feel like he's going to end up signing the papers. So Libra girl, anxiety. Maybe you bounced out. It's really late. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so I did Alethea. Okay, Ellen is just a general reading. Just want to see how many more questions I have. Okay, Milani's the last one. So Ellen is a general. And I'm almost done with y'all, and you can be done for the night. You can get some sleep. I'm guessing Alethea left. Ellen wanted just a general reading. They said switch up things a little bit, get out of your comfort zone. It's really important for you. I feel like getting stagnated. I also feel really dizzy. Have you been drinking enough of not alcohol, fluids, water? Make sure you're breathing and stop and smell the roses a little bit. Quit. It's like just going through the motions and roboting through life. He said, stop and breathe and find your center. Finding your center is important. You're here, you're here. Does that make sense? Needing to find grounding. I feel like I'm a little too disconnected. So Sherry Kirk and then Melanie. Sherry Kirk. Hello. Monica, see if you're saying this. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I didn't skip you. Um, all right, let me see. Hi, Rachel. So I feel like whatever that is, if they're giving me the dizziness to put me to feeling dehydrated, that might be what your headaches are from as well. So make sure you're increasing your water. For grounding, picture roots coming up. Like, first of all, you can just like jump on the ground to like get your energy down to the ground, or walk in the grass. It sounds weird, but it's like feeling your body physically if you're able to jump. Picture roots also coming up out of the ground and kind of wrapping around your legs and like pulling you down and reconnecting you to that. Thank you, Tammy, for coming in anyway. Good night, Ellen. That's what I would say for that. See, Libra girl bounced out. So then I've got Sherry Kirk. So good night, good night. Thanks for coming in tonight. Sherry, I hear, I don't know if you're still here. You're here. I understand that, but it's something's going to happen that's going to shift it where he signs it. It feels a couple months out yet. It doesn't feel right away, but something's going to happen where he signs it. I keep getting pulled when they're telling me he's narcissistic. There's a lot of control issues on his part. It may be something where you go to the attorney and something has to be forced because he refuses to sign it. You can't just not divorce someone. Like, you can't, like, there's like certain things that they can do legally. They can't just say like, you're shit out of luck and you're stuck being married to this person because they refuse to sign the papers. Like, there is other legal actions that can be done. Does that make sense? But I feel like he will end up giving in and signing it. They say stand your ground. Sherry, I heard the word for you, Sherry Kirk, navigation, and it's sort of like needing navigation assistance or not being afraid to ask for assistance, or something about navigation for you, navigating. I also felt like needing to ask for validation. So I feel like stuff has been happening for you, like psychic phenomena and things like that around you. And they're sort of like, just ask us for validation and we'll do it again. And we'll show you again, or whatever it is. They're not going to just leave you hanging. Alethea. So as far as clarification, that I just feel like he will. And it's like, so it may mean like going to an attorney and saying like, he refuses to sign it. So now what's my next legal step? Like, what do we do? Cause like, that's not just, there are legal things that you can do to say like a dissolution of marriage without, I mean, there's gotta be something along that lines. I can't imagine that they just say, well, too bad he won't sign it. Cause there's a lot of people I think who would do that in life. So I'm sure there's something around that. Yes. Okay. So ask for validation around you. Because it feels like there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's like really important that you ask for validation so that they'll keep showing you. And not from me, but for you to get the validation through your own life. It's sort of so you don't feel crazy kind of thing. Nav is here. Let me see what you asked again. You guys, thanks for hanging in so long while I'm answering these. I do appreciate it, because I don't know why I've been going off on a lot of tangents tonight. Oh, I did answer that. Okay. So just rewind it and find where your name is, and it should have answered it. So will AB contact you? Let me see. Libra girl, love messages. I don't see anything huge happening. I just saw little butterflies. So to me, that's like that beginning of like getting excited about something, having a crush on somebody, but it doesn't feel like any major anything kind of comes to fruition. And then my last one is Melani. Are you on Jalen's mind? And I felt like when I first read it, actually, when I first saw you posted it, I heard yes, but I didn't want to answer it out of turn and like upset anybody who's been here waiting. So I think that is it for me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I am ever so grateful whenever you join me and when you're patient and you hang in here, because some of you are all over the world and this is like crazy hours for you. So I am incredibly grateful. I hope you have a lovely week. I really do want to get back to doing videos soon, but it's been hard with the construction and I've sort of energetically just been like overwhelmed with a lot. So I kind of been like pacing myself and not wearing myself too thin, but I've been getting some stuff. I've sort of been like connecting into the Akashic records every day for doing like a little meditation. So I've got some information I want to share. So I don't know if I'm going to record them and post them or just do quick live blurbs, but if you like and subscribe and hit the bell, you'll get notified when I am on and or when I post a video. Thank you for your love and support and your kindness. I hope you have a wonderful week. Happy Monday, happy Sunday, whatever day it happens to be for you. Sweet dreams or have a great day. Good night. Thank you, KK. I appreciate you.